Faders of the Lost Art.
Welcome back to another episode of Faders of the Lost Art, live at Namm 2026. We're here with a star-studded cast. You already know the vibes. Big shout out to Dutch and Dutch. Big shout out to our boys at Cloud Mics, Odyssey, Steven Slate, VSX headphones. You already know the vibes. Definitely check out the Cloud Lifter Mini, the new and improved craziness. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce my amazing cast here. Jade Berry, top-notch engineer. Bob Horn. I don't need to tell you who Bob Horn is. If you don't know, you're not an engineer. You feel me? Jannis. He is on the dev team at Dutch and Dutch. So we've got Dutch and Dutch proper in the building. Let's go. We have Ilya reigning all the way from
LA.
From LA.
All the way from LA.
Where are you from though, OG?
OG?
Yeah. Moscow, Russia, you feel me? This is an international panel right here. Ohad Namm, he's been killing it. His list of credits is just growing by the day. He's got like 1,000 records a year you're doing over here?
Yeah,
crazy.
1,200 the last two.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, 1,200. Sorry. MSM engineer. For those of you that don't know, you better know. Same deal. List of credits goes on and on and on. Look them up. Get yourself right. What's going on, everybody?
Good.
Namm.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about some of the most amazing speakers on earth. The Dutch and Dutch. 8 Cs. They just pulled out the 6 Cs, brand new, and the 15 Cs. 3 15s in one box. Are you kidding me? It's crazy. What do you guys think?
These are the ones you was telling me about.
Yeah, correct. The secret ones.
He gave me no details, but was like, something's coming. Every time I said, I miss my mains. I want mains. So, yeah, it's coming.
It's coming.
They don't even look real.
Right?
Yeah.
It looks like someone's blown like a dummy up and just like a prototype.
It is. It's like, it feels incredibly soft, but they're going to pound your face in.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, I'm going to get them at home. Bedroom studio.
Absolutely. So it's a funny story. We got like some comments on the 8Cs, like people wanted more. It was like 4 years ago. So me and Martijn, the speaker designer, we were like, what do we do? Do we do a 10-inch, a 12-inch? And we were like, no, like if people do really want more, let's give them something big. So we went with the dual 15 inches. But they all come down with the same design of the speakers. Where it's a cardioid speaker, constant directivity speaker, bass boundary couple speakers. So it's meant for solve a lot of the room issues from start, right? If you really want to control the room, you have to control the speaker itself. So and I think you're all users of the speaker. So
all right, let's get to the chase. How has this changed the way you mix? How has this changed, how does this help you mix? How does this help you get to where you're trying to go master, mix, get, work done faster, better? What do you guys think?
I'm known for talking the longest, so if anyone wants to go first before I start...
Run it, bro, run it. Whoever,
I'll
jump in. No stress, bro, jump in. Run it. Dude.
Well, I'll say...
Yeah, sure, I'll start. Yeah. Thank you. So my journey with the Dutch and Dutch started when I moved the country. I had a studio in Berlin, and we had a massive ATC 100 over there, but they never worked perfect with the room.
Never heard of massive pair, like in the wall mounted. They never sound good.
Not even. Yeah, they were just like floor standing. Even.
Still don't sound good.
No. Yeah.
Never heard a pair sound good.
So then I moved from Germany to Luxembourg, and I was about to move like 3 different studios in a short while, and I was researching online like what's the best speaker to get that would be the easiest to move from a studio that I know, and I know my results are still the same. Then I found Dutch and Dutch, of course, and I bet on them, of course, and it was a game changer from day one. First of all, I had like 0 training wheels on them, Right. I immediately, everything translated, right on point. 3 different studios. Some of them didn't even have acoustics.
Crazy.
They sounded great out of the box. And then later on, when I actually built my final studio, the amount of detail I was getting from them, I never had on any other speaker.
Insane.
So, and for mastering, of course, it's like such a big key to hear everything.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I'll actually go next because I have a very similar story. COVID happened, and we all had to go to the crib. And I'm used to working on Dave Pensado's Augsburger mains, and that's where I learned. That's where I cut my teeth. And I was like, how do I bring this to my house? Like, I already was never going to leave this studio in my life, but now I have to. So, just so happened to come across the Dutch and Dutch, and not only did it perfectly translate, I didn't lose a single day of work, but my work started getting way better. I went from V10 to V1 God. Literally, I stopped getting mixed notes, and I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want any notes?" What engineer says that? Like, "Are you sure you don't want more?" Like, I'm like subconscious, like I could have changed this, or I maybe should have done a little more volume. They're like, "Dude, I pulled over my car to cry because this mix is so good." I'm like, "Done. It's the speaker. That's not me. I didn't change anything. It's been like 2 months since COVID. Like, I didn't change." So it was seamless. It was opposite. Like, it was like just exponentially, growth for me. So it's just a no-brainer. But like you said, the clarity and just the detail.
For me, I was working on the same type of Asperger's that Nico was, in the same room, actually.
Right.
And then when I sold my studio and moved to the house, I didn't want those big Asperger's. And I got the pair of Dutches, and immediately I started using way less plugins, and my mid-range got way better. And when I would go do a car check or AirPods or something, it was just a lot closer. So when I would come back from the car, I'd have way less notes for myself.
Right.
Yeah,
That's just crazy. Just
mid-range is the most important part of the mix.
That's some next level. It's like doing a car check and be like, "Damn,
Yeah,
I don't need it. I don't hear anything. This sounds like a record, dude."
Right.
And you're like, "I did it. I'm good. I can put my hat off for the day." So it's sick. It's sick.
Yeah, I've been using my ALYSSEs for like 6 years, and like I changed over the last 4 years. I changed like 4 rooms,
Nice.
and I had absolutely like no issues with translation from room to the room, and even switching countries with my speakers.
Wow.
So the only issue I get with the clients who ask like, "Hey man, where's your sub in the room?" And I'm like, "There is no sub. It's just nice room, nice set of speakers." And it's been helping me really, really a lot over the last few years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you literally full range is there.
Yeah, and being able, to adjust to the room. Of course, we all know we have to, try to treat the room first.
And another thing is speakers out the box. Usually you always have to do something, add a sub, tune them, do this, do that. You're just a little, but these, even though of course they're not perfect for every room out the box, they sound pretty close, like 95% just stock settings out the box. So you don't find that ever.
No.
What about you, Em?
So I tried them many years ago when they first came out, and I actually didn't like them.
Okay.
So, but I didn't know anything about the setup. They weren't even against the back wall. They hadn't. A dealer had brought them to me and was pushing them. Was like, "Look, put these up." And if you've seen my old room, I had every pair of speakers under the sun. I wasn't even trying to buy anything. So he sticks them up. And a part of me was like, "They're small as well. Don't want them. Just get them out." Didn't like them. I wrote them off. In the last year and a half where I've left that room, tried all my speakers at home, nothing's working.
Damn.
I'd use all the DSPs you've tried under the sun. That's fine. There's still something missing. Lou turns around and says to me, "You should try the Dutch and Dutch." I said, "I've already done that. I don't want to do that again." No. Try the Dutch and Dutch. But he's being forceful with this. Like,
right.
I'm going to put you in with them. We then started speaking. Then I learned about all the feature set that was never told or explained to me by the people that were selling, distributing. I don't remember.
Right.
I didn't know that you push them up against the wall as close as possible.
Right.
Then put the amount in. I didn't know that room EQ was an option to do more. None of this. So I got them, and they are the first pair that in this particular room worked. And I mean, I was trying everything, bro. I was trying the active bass traps. I was trying, you name it, everything. I have all of the different tricks that you can do in a home setup to fix. And some of them were good enough, but it wasn't.
You had to learn it.
I'm so used to a room for 10 years I got it. I was happy. Everything was a bit like, I was depressed. I was like, I want to go back to my room. I can't now.
Yeah.
I can't.
You're gone.
I'm done. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck. Do I just stop mixing for a little while till I figure this out?
Right.
But stuff's coming in.
It's crazy. It is depressing, bro. You can, like, when you don't have your studio,
my family thought I was crazy. When I'm like, they're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, you just physics. Like, I can't explain it to you. They're like, oh, can't we just try this? No.
Yeah. It's just not hitting.
I've always been a believer in speakers, and there's a thing that you need to do. If you're not soffit mounting, there's a game you have to play.
Right. 100%.
And I've done it from, do you remember I came out of media and made ARC years ago?
Yep.
Well, the technology in ARC is Audacy by a guy named Chris, a Greek guy. He used to loan it out to like hi-fi amps and stuff. Okay. So you'd get a hi-fi system in a cinema room at home. They would bring some around the mic and do what we now know is just normal measuring a room and correcting.
Right.
They would charge for that service with your amp and get your cinema to sound good when everyone's sitting. I started talking to him from 2008, 9, like, what is this shit that you guys are doing? I think this would be really cool in studios. And then when ARC came out, that was the beginning of me understanding the speakers I've got are good. The room I've got is shit.
Right.
And so any speaker company that is pushing that angle, I'll have a conversation. I'll give it a go. I'll listen, because that is what everyone needs. If we're going away from the main rooms, soffit mounts, a designer. Because we are.
Right.
You can't just throw a pair of speakers. I don't care. You could have the most expensive. I had ATC 150s in my room. They only worked with Trinov.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They weren't going to work, and they cost me God knows how much.
Right.
Tell that to somebody who doesn't understand this stuff, who's just gone and bought ATC 150s and he's in his room trying to mix and he's wondering why things aren't translating.
Yeah.
And why he spent all this money and he's getting fired all the time.
What you hear is what you mix, and I've put people that aren't confident in rooms that sound good, and they're a lot better than they think they are.
It's crazy.
Because that's the bit that matters.
Right. Yeah, you can't fix what you can't hear.
They do that for me. I've got 2 pairs now.
Sick.
I've got one in a recording room that I have, and one here at home, which just, funny enough, my neighbors haven't moaned yet. Nice. I don't listen to them loud. It's
funny enough, I also have a home setup, and I haven't got one complaint. And I went in the stairwell, and I'm in an apartment building, so I went in the stairwell. That motherfucker is banging that stairwell out, and nobody's complained yet. So
weird, right?
Something about either they like
what you're
sound,
making,
or
they like your work,
or it just doesn't, it sounds so good in the room, but it doesn't like bother the building. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like a lot of speakers are just like the whole building, and you're just like, dude, what's going on? So I don't know what's as far as that goes, but same deal. I don't have any issues with my neighbors.
They do this thing where they have like a bubble, like where. Yeah. I had a producer listen to him one time, and he kept putting them wider and wider because he wanted to extend that thing that he explained as like, it's like stepping in a fishbowl.
Right.
Because you go in it and you sit down, you're like, oh shit. But when you stand up and walk away, it's like you can see that's the bit over there that matters. So
it's crazy. I always say it feels the closest I've ever felt to mixing like IMAX, like it's fully engulfing you. Just like you said, it's the fishbowl. I didn't use that analogy, but it's very similar.
There's speakers that do the same kind of technology, but I've always said, my analogy was, when you go TV shopping and there's a TV and it catches your eye and you keep looking at it and you just standing staring at it. Even as a kid, I'd be like, wow, this looks so sick. I didn't watch what was on the show.
Right.
I just watched the reds, the blues, the yellows. Right. I was obsessed with the vividness of it. But I forgot to watch the film and the story. The Dutch and Dutch did that for me, where I kind of like, once I realized, okay, they can fix the problem in this particular setup, and we've got that out of the way now. I don't really think about it anymore. Kind of like, they're a bit boring now. It's like they're out of the way. I'm just doing my job.
Right.
That's kind of what you want.
Right.
It's not the best sales pitch, but it's...
But no, you got to eliminate the speakers. It's just all about the music.
Yeah.
Not the room. You eliminate the room, you eliminate the speakers, and you just get right to the money. The one thing that was like huge for me is like people started asking me for mix checks and like, hey, can you check my mix? And I would like break it down like, yeah, the vocals are great, this is great, but your bass is just a little shaky, it's not really hitting, and you're cutting right there. And dude, it's the one thing I was subconscious about in my mix. How the fuck did you hear that? Listen, like you went straight to my weak point. Every time, every friend that asked me to check their mix, I was like, yeah, it's the speakers. I know what the fuck I'm hearing.
But as a total nerd, I really appreciate that you are able to be in total control of what you're doing. You know, it's not like auto preset correction or anything, so you can nerd like completely and like fine tune stuff
to your
inside
taste.
DSP, which is cool. Like not that many companies provide you that level of access to the DSP.
Yeah, they all want you to tune it, but just to whatever they think
Yeah.
your tune should sound like. This is like fully, because everybody's ear canal is different. Everybody's taste is different. You might like a little more bass. And the fact that there's like profiles, all sorts of different, calibration techniques all at your fingertips. It's not to push you into a corner. It's to give you the options, right?
So what I think is interesting to hear when all of you are like how you explain how you work on the HCs, and there are reasons behind this, right? That why you get this immersive sound, you're always like in the bubble, so to say, and that's because like you was one of the catalysts actually with Dutch and Dutch when YouTube or one of course, but when you were getting the speakers into your apartment, and all of a sudden you realize that you don't need this much of an acoustic, right? That was a true catalyst for Dutch and Dutch during COVID, right?
Right.
Because people realized that, all right, what does this technology Cardioid that we call it do? And that's why we have set up a setup just like that. Because if you're standing in front of the speakers, you get all the sound. If you're going behind of the speakers, you have roughly a 26 dB reduction. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And if you imagine this in your room, this also means that you don't get the same reflections, right? So there are things DSP can solve, and there are things that you have to control at start. And that's why, Martijn Mensink, our designer, really thought like, okay, the speaker is going to be in a room. We have to create a speaker that works with the room and not against it. So, and all these technological features is what you're getting then. And that's why, you hear that this is something different. It helps you in your work, in your workflow. So.
Right. No, man, real quick shout out to Martijn. Amazing work on these. Congrats on the baby. Dude, amazing. Congrats on the other babies. These are some pretty sweet looking babies. So you guys rock.
Jade?
Jade, talk to us.
I think the main thing for me is it just makes it such an easy mix experience. It makes it, I mix it at significantly like lower levels than a lot of my peers, including Bob and partners. So, and it just translates so easily. And it's really like you use the fishbowl, you use kind of like the immersive feeling. When you're mixing with other monitors, they're there's other monitors out there and they're great and they're adequate and they sound good, but you very much feel stereo. And these feel very immersive. It feels like you're living within the music. So it's so much quicker because of the detail that's present. It makes your job easy, and that's what we look for. You don't want to get tired out,
One of the magic things about the detail is that it's not just like more high end. Like that's not what the detail is.
No.
Like I can't even tell you what it is, which is
I can't tell you either, but the way I explain it is reverb tails.
Yeah.
Reverb tails. That's all I got to say is just go listen to whatever your speakers are and how long of the reverb tail and how clearly you can hear that reverb tail. And then go listen to Dutch and Dutches and just forget the snare crack, forget the vocal. Just listen to after that, just the reverb tail. And you're going to be like, holy shit, I didn't hear. You can hear like the actual, you can hear what gear they use. I can guess what reverb you use because I got the freaking clarity to figure it out.
Recently, I went to a friend's studio. He's an acoustician, and in my opinion, he's top 3 in the. He's the best in my opinion. And I was playing some work to him, listening to my own work. I didn't do this on purpose. I didn't even tell him what was going on. I just wanted to hear my recent work in this amazing room. I'm playing through stuff, and he could pull apart the stuff I'd done since the Dutch and Dutch with the correction in the room.
Wow.
From the 6 months where I tried everything with the different things. And he said, and I shit you not, when this is done, I'll show you the messages. Because I said, did you do that? How the fuck did you do that? He said, there's a different emotion in the lower mids that you've got.
Yeah.
And the issue that I had in my room was the lower mids.
Insane.
So the previous setup that I had was correcting it, but when you use DSP to correct, you get distortion.
Fade.
You have a raise in distortion. Measure your speakers, just go to DSP, distortion specs, look where it's boosted 100 hertz, and look on the
phase correlation. It's always going to be.
You might have it flat, but it now feels warmer than it is there.
Right.
It feels thicker. It feels more
And it's
finished.
a little more blurry, and you don't even notice because there's so much to listen to.
Depending on who you are, you might leave it thinking that's really nice, or
Right.
you might go and fight it. And
Right.
But he could pick that apart, and he says, "Yeah, there's a difference." He didn't say whether he liked it. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. He
Sure.
just said, "I can hear the line where things start to, the emotion changes in the lower mids." Which either he's been in my files looking at the dates of stuff, or he's very good at his job. 'Cause
Right.
No one's ever done that to me. I couldn't do it. Even when I was listening, I'm like, they both sound, it's me. It's my work.
Right. I remember doing that.
Yeah.
I did this move, that move, and then and
And apparently there's a different emotion in it.
it's insane.
I don't even want that though. I don't want a sound.
Right.
So the fact that he can do that, I'm like, it's mixing's a weird thing.
It
Mixing's
is.
a very weird thing. But I'm at the point now with these where, as I said, I don't think about it. I want those because I want the volume.
Heck yeah.
I
the
miss
15.
that shit. I'm not gonna. I got the ACs. They can do it, but they're at home. I can't do it.
Right.
I can't give it the.
Right.
You know.
But at the studio, we need that skin shaking, baby.
I want. Yeah.
No, for real. And like you said, music is a fickle bitch. That's a wise Dave Pensato quote. So you got to treat her right. And if you don't know what's going on, how are you going to treat her right?
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Yeah. I mean, in relation to that, I also mentioned time saving. I mean, from, second guessing masters for like 20, 25 minutes, got the Dutch and Dutch and I master a song in 10.
Same. Yeah. The way I compare it is like my mix time was like 16 hours, 20 hours for a mix, 2-3 days, and it got down to 10, 8, 6, 4. Like, no way I did a mix in 4 hours, brother. I didn't finish. Like, what's wrong with this mix?
Because there's no second guessing.
No second guessing.
Yeah.
Mix time and less card checks.
Oh, yeah.
Finally.
I don't do card checks, bro, because I got Dutch. Like after the first few, you know what I'm saying? Like you did a few, and like I was talking to Bob earlier, it's like this record sounds done. This record sounds. I'm not going out there anymore. I know it sounds done. It's good. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just nice to have all of those options to tune them because, the speaker company, their name starts with an F. They give you a 200 hertz shelf on the low end. How do they know that that's going to work in my room with my ears? Like each one of us is different in what we like and how our ears are, maybe even the condition of our ears. So,
and funny enough, we all get our mixes to the same endpoint, right?
But we're listening different.
Exactly.
Like if you came in and heard my Dutches, even though you have Dutches, they're probably slightly different than yours.
Yep.
And you would want to change that.
Right.
But I need it that way for me.
Right. For you to
for
translate.
my taste and my hearing.
Your everybody's got the different ear canal size, and everyone has just a slightly different, right? Like
I need a little more flexibility than a 200 hertz shelf.
Yeah.
And
the fact that they have, that's what I'm saying. You can tune them, and then you could just go in. You got 24 parametric EQ points. I mean, you can literally do any, like I call it like the Pro Q of speakers. Sure. Like you can put Pro Q directly in your speakers on board. It's like I can do any curve I want, any shape. I can, compensate it manually, do REW, do it automatically, whatever. I can do just a little bit of heavy lifting with REW, do the rest by ear, and then I'll put like maybe a third software on and just see it, just to measure it. Did I get it? You know what I mean? It's like, and then you do it to taste. Like you eliminate the room, and then you're like, okay, but you got all the.
This is what we were talking about when I was saying about that shelf in the bottom and how I'm like, I would do a summer of mixing or a season of mixing, and then an A&R would come back to me and say, this particular song's done really well. Could we try and use this as a reference point? If I listen to that song and it's too bright for my taste, I would adjust my speakers till that sound is palatable for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then mix.
Right.
Because I'm going to land there again, just with my curve, my flavor, whatever. And when I said that to these guys, they were like, oh, shit. And I'm like, that's the thing I'm loving the most.
Wow.
The fact that I just shelf my top and bottom till their reference sounds where I like it.
And it's like you got profiles, so it's one click away. You're like, oh, this client being
mine are permanently wired up to the internet. I'm changing things. I'm tweaking. It will never stay the same.
Right.
It's depending on what I'm doing.
That's awesome. I didn't even think about that. I knew you had the flexibility to do that, but I'm just so locked in and married to my
if you
sound.
heard the reference they wanted me to sound like, there was no way I was going to do it. I'm like,
Right.
that is
my taste,
my brain. I need to like tame that down. And so it became a little party trick. I used to do this on a previous system. So this isn't just this. It just made me happy to know I can do it with this as well. I was like, oh shit, yeah,
So
okay.
easy, bro.
This is
And they're constantly updating. They're listening to us. Like we give them feedback, and you know,
I mean, plugins. Come on, plugins in a speaker.
that's one thing. Talk to us about the plugins.
Yeah, so from start, we designed a very powerful platform, right? So they are software-based speakers. And actually, what I would like to do after, this is our second step now in the studio world of Dutch and Dutch, is that I'm going to reach out to a bunch of engineers, producers, mixing engineers, because we want to understand how your workflow is and if we can do something from a software perspective in how you can control your speakers. If you like something or you like something, we can just, at a press of a button, alter that to match the way you work. Because at the end of the day, we want to design a speaker or speaker systems nowadays that gives you the flexibility, gives you that you don't have to do revisions, you can trust your sound. That's the most important thing for us as designers, right? To give you the best tools so you can continue to do what you do best. Because at the end of the day, without you, there is no Dutch and Dutch, right?
Yeah, I mean, just to drive that home, it's like comparing to most companies are like, no, we know better. Our engineers designed this, and you shouldn't be doing. No, I don't give a fuck. Give me the opportunity to do what I want with my gear. I'll call you later. And that's what you guys do. It's like, oh, you guys want this feature? Okay, give us a little bit of time, but we're gonna on the next version, on the next firmware update. Guess what? Hey, they call me. Hey, guess what, buddy? We added this feature for you. So it's like, dude, that's next level. That's the type of company that we want to work with. And I always tell my peers, it's not just the gear; it's the people behind the gear too. Like, we fuck with you guys as people. So definitely cool people. That's big. And I know a lot of you guys out there. You know what I'm talking about. You love that product. Be like, I don't really like those people though. But I mean, it helps me get my work done. But I don't really, So it's. That's super important, and Dave always, drove that home. Is like, dude, that thing's great, but that guy's an asshole, so I'm not going to ever use that.
That's true.
So that's important. Any last remarks?
I mean, I'll also mention the great customer service.
Amazing.
Like, they will answer in like an hour, and will help you solve.
They'll walk you through software issues, anything.
I don't think I ever had a contact with a company that I got a reply so fast and got solved so fast.
Right,
So,
that too. It's not just getting we responded to him and then the ticket, we'll do the ticket tomorrow or whatever. No, they're like, dude, what do you need? Like, how can I fix? You're in a session, I got you, bro. I'm going to get the engineer on the phone with you. That's next level customer service for sure.
I just wanted to add to the profile thing. So sometimes, for the production session, you're going to need something, more deep and, more expressively sounding. And you can create kind of production profile and mixing profile. Because for mixing, you usually need something more,
clean,
familiar for you,
flat,
for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the artist, you need it to sound a little
bump in the trunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jade and I co-mix, and we start at my house, and then we end up at her place, at her studio later. But instead of forcing each other to use how our Dutches are, I didn't even think about this, we could have profiles.
Your profile.
And then when I get up and I get out of the seat,
you could just download your profile at home, take it to Bob's, put it on his, and you're done.
We go back and forth when we're doing
And then you take your profile to her place, upload it, and then done deal. Now you both got both of your speakers. That's genius. I like that.
Well, it's actually pretty interesting because there is a feature there with the room profile. So we had lots of engineers who were like, but it's great when I'm sitting here and mixing, right? I get the perfect spot. But when the artist is back at the couch, they don't get the same translation. So we were like, you can do multiple room settings. So you can do one setting for your sweet spot where you're mixing and working. And then for the couch behind, of a press of a button, we can just swap that sound to become better at the couch. So, you can also build a better relationship with your artist, because it's very important that they also get, the feeling of the work that you're doing, right?
Like, perfect example in a mixed notes session, like where you have the client in the room giving you mixed notes. I would probably just leave it on that setting. I don't even need to hear it. I know what the mix sounds like. I did it 1,000 times. So I'm literally just letting him hear it. All right, what do you think? Okay, cool. Mix notes, done. Cutting time out of our long days. It's long hours in the studio. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Faders of the Lost Art live at NAMM 2026. Sitting here with some of the most incredible people, top-notch engineers, star-studded crew over here. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys so much. Big shout out to Dutch and Dutch for hosting us. This has been A1. Let's go. Mic drop.
Don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe. And see you next time on Faders of the Lost Art.